Let's talk while standing today. So, you are welcome to today's life. You are welcome to today's life, my healthy food place. And if you are calling for the first time, I'm your host. Grace Enemali is my name. And so today, we want to talk about something that pertains more to women, and that is the menopause. Remember last time we talked about menopause, took time to talk about menopause. And so today specifically we want to focus on the worst foods. There was no much time to talk on the worst foods during menopause the last time, but if you are coming today, you are welcome to my channel. And if you have someone who is going through the menopause challenge, the special time in a woman's life when the period ceases, it's always a challenging time. And so a lot of people run up and down trying to look for shortcuts, ways out of it. But I tell you, the best way to manage, mark the word manage menopause, is through nutrition, making lifestyle changes, making food choices, making dietary modifications. That's exactly the best way to manage menopause. And so today specifically I want to talk on the worst foods. You can drop your comment. Don't forget, once you drop your comment during this live, be given attention to be attended to. And so look at the comment section, and if you have a question about menopause, just drop it there. If you have any special concern about menopause, drop it in the comment section. Why? Because this is something that I have been through. I know how it feels. A man cannot talk better about menopause, though they have their own unique experience, but not as challenging as that of the women. We talked about the age. So don't forget to watch the other video on menopause, the other live. If you are concerned about menopause, you want to know the period, the time, the symptoms, and other things that happens, you need to watch the last live on. It was a little bit more elaborate, talking about when to expect it, when to expect the menopause, the symptoms that comes with it, the best foods to help you. They're all in that particular video, that particular life. But today, precisely, let's look at the worst foods for you. And you must avoid them. They are foods you've been enjoying. Number one, fried foods. If you have been enjoying fried foods, doesn't matter how you fry your chicken, you fry your sweet potatoes, you're frying your yam, you're frying your plantain, you're frying your egg. When you enter your menopause, my dear, it's time to stop. That's the time to stop. Why? Because your body cannot handle all those oils. When you fry any food, it becomes more difficult to digest. Yes. Frying your food makes it more difficult to digest. And during the menopause, precisely, your body wants some foods that are easily digestible. And these are the foods you should focus on. More easily digestible foods. Mark it, because they are the ones that won't give you much trouble. when you fry those your chicken, those your sweet potatoes, those your stews, it's going to cause you to begin to develop fatty liver, because all those fried foods are difficult to digest. And that is not something that you want to have during menopause. Then the next batch of foods are, okay, let's talk a little on the fried foods, because some of you are buying fried foods outside, fried chips, fried bean balls. We call it akara here. It doesn't matter what or even frying your stew. Yes. For instance, when I was going through menopause, for instance, it took me time to accept that you can actually make your stew without frying it, which is what I'm doing till date. I never knew any other way to prepare the stew and make it taste well, taste good and delicious than frying. So it was something that was quite difficult, but I did it and it worked, and it's been working for me. And I want you to stop frying those food, those your soup. Just put your tomatoes or whatever and in the pot when you want to make your stew, and just add the oil of your choice on top of it. That's all. And start adding your ingredients. It's going to taste good, especially if you use only natural ingredients. Now, the next thing to stop in your diet, the next group of food are those that are high in caffeine. You need to stop them. If you're a lover of teas, whether you call it top tea, Lipton tea, some of you don't know the difference. You need to watch another video, green tea versus black tea. I made a video on it because a lot of people don't know the category, the type of tea that they are drinking. They think all teas are the same, and so they just drink the tea. I'm taking tea, I don't even know the tea self. Many of people, no, you need to know the tea you're drinking this time around when you're menopause. And this menopause is actually when the period already had ceased. So all those waste that your body is taking out every month, it's no longer uhuru for you. You don't have that chance of taking out those waste. So everything will be inside your body. And so you need to reduce those food that are bringing caffeine, those things that will make your anxiety attack. Remember, anxiety feeling is one of the symptoms of menopause. When that feeling comes suddenly and you are like, you are not in control of yourself. You don't even know what's happening to you. That is the sign. Sometimes it just happens suddenly after you consume certain foods. It just happened, the anxiety feeling. My dear, you don't need to worry about the anxiety attack. You don't need to worry too much about it, because when you remove the caffeinated teas, like this black tea, reduce your green tea. You don't have to really stop it. When you reduce the green tea, reduce the caffeinated coffees, of course, you need to stop all of the caffeines, even the ones that occur naturally. Reduce them, because why? They're going to increase the anxiety feelings and even your sleep, because sleep problem is one of the challenges. And so if you are consuming too much of the leafy teas, before you were enjoying it, like myself, and the time of menopause, the period of menopause, you need to go low, because it will contribute to your poor sleep. It will contribute to sleep deprivation, poor sleep quality. That is what we call sleep quality, and sleep quantity will be missing. And that will usher in other health problems if you do not attend to it. If you continue to include caffeine in whichever way, it's going to usher in sleep problems or increase the sleep problems you're having. And when you are not sleeping well, it's going to usher in other health problems, including depression. And so you need to slow down. Slow down drastically on the caffeinated teas. And so this is not good news for lovers of tea. And so another part of another aspect of the food that you need to be very, very careful about are the saturated fats. Yes, saturated fats from meat, saturated fat from some oils. Now, oils like red palm oil, these were oils that you could be enjoying. Yes, you're welcome. Yes, these are oils that you were enjoying before. You could put them in large amounts and it won't affect you. But during the time of your menopause, you need to be very mindful of saturated fat in your diet. Not only the ones that come from the animal protein, but also the ones that come from plants. Saturated fat. You need to be very, very mindful of it. You need to reduce saturated fat because your body cannot also handle it. It's going to be contributing to other things, including your arteries getting clogged. So you don't need to consume foods that will contribute to clogging of your arteries. You need to guard against it. Then, besides that, you need to reduce the spicy foods. Yes, spices are good. I tell you, but during menopause, you need to reduce the spices because they make you to sweat more. No, most of these spices are good for detox. They open up your arteries, open up, the detox pathways. But I tell you, during menopause, you need to be more careful with spices. Because when you take too much spices like hot pepper soups, you add a lot of pepper in your food, it's going to cause increased sweating. Even the nutrient absorption in your body will be reduced. And the hot spices also will, apart from reducing the nutrient absorption, will cause you to start having things like anxiety feeling, another type of fatigue. Immediately after because night sweat is one of the symptoms of menopause. And so if you are including too much spices, hot pepper soups that you could be eating, especially those cultures where they cook pepper soup for, a woman that just gave birth. They prepare pepper soups for you, and then you'll be consuming it and you'll be sweating and enjoying yourself, no issues. But during menopause, my dear, go very, very low on hot pepper soups because it's going to increase the sweating. And that too much excessive sweating is not good for you. It's going to usher in other health problems. Yes. Now, the next group of food is the one you know already. The carbonated teas, the carbonated drinks. That's the sugary foods. You must be aware of what? Sugar. They will cause you to be increasing in weight. No, weight gain is something you need to watch against during menopause. You need to watch against weight gain. Because when you are consuming too much of these foods like this, and you are not exercising, definitely it's going to be affecting you or causing you to gain weight. When you are consuming all those your high sugar foods, you are consuming your bread and biscuits, you need to, as much as possible, if you want the negative symptoms of menopause to reduce, my dear, you need to, as much as possible, stop those your bread and biscuit, those your cake. Lovers of cake, bad news for you, because if you are consuming cakes, maybe you are a baker and you love to consume cake. a lot. You need to stop it. Bread, biscuits, these are the sources of the trans fat. All of them, they bring trans fat, and you need to be aware of trans fat. When we talk of trans fats are not naturally occurring fats. They are man-made fat, we call them. They are put on inside the food for the shelf life of the food. But they are not, your body does not really understand the trans fats as much as it understands the naturally occurring fats. And so when you are in your menopause, or you're already getting into your menopause, you need to be aware of those trans fats. If you are someone that likes butters, not natural butters, because there are natural butters that you can get real fat from. Those ones taken in moderation are not bad for you. But those, your margarines, I definitely can't mention any brand, but those margarines you spread on butter, you need to stay off them, please. They belong to that class of the trans fat. You see those vegetable oils with beautiful labels, commercials, you need to also be aware of them. Most times they draw the heart, put heart friendly, they put cholesterol friendly, and everything friendly. Yet, during menopause, I tell you, these foods are not actually friendly. They are no longer your friends during menopause. They will be contributing to weight gain. And weight gain is one of the very big challenges during menopause. Yes, the first thing that I had to do to take back my health was to lose weight. I was actually weighing about 120. But when all the health challenges began to come in, and the pre-menopause hit me too, nobody told me to lose weight. Nobody. I didn't have opportunity to listen to any special session, any special teaching, or from someone that is experienced to coach or to guide me. But the health challenges forced me to lose weight, and came down up to about 80 or 79, 80. And by the time you successfully lose weight during menopause, if you are overweight, you will discover that most of the diseases that comes with menopause are gone. I had health challenges like stomach ulcers. They were all gone. Some people are going through arthritis, which they inherited from weight gain, are coming out of menopause. So during menopause, it's not time for you to just go to a party and whatever you see, you put into your mouth. Those your party rice, you just eat it anyhow. My dear, immediately you are approaching menopause, which is 38, 39 years. I said it before, you need to watch that video. Don't want to repeat all that I said before. You need to go and get that video, and if you have not subscribed to this channel, you need to subscribe in order to hear from the real experienced someone who can tell you exactly how to go about the menopause. Because most of the times, a lot of people are running around the pharmacies, running around looking for over-the-counter medications in order to take away the menopause, but it doesn't. You can reduce the symptoms by making lifestyle changes. You can reduce the symptoms by making dietary modifications. You can reduce the menopause symptoms by also making good food choices. Just making good food choices. These are the major things that you need for you to, reduce those menopause symptoms. So remember, we're talking about weight gain. When you are consuming sugary foods, sugary drinks, all those ready-to-drink foods, you are storing sugar. Your body is just storing everything, and there's no opportunity to throw them out like you normally do when you normally have your monthly period and it goes, and you are refreshed. Nothing anymore. And so when you are consuming those sugary foods, sugary drinks, and whatever, sugars are almost in every food we eat. I've come to realize it, including natural sugars. Now, when we talk about natural sugars, let me explain more about the sugars here, because a lot of people are confused, thinking that because the sugar is in natural food, sugars, like I tell you, some high sugary foods like banana, so it doesn't matter. We will still need to consume them in moderation during the menopause because of sugar. Sugar is the first, one of the worst enemy, because it will lead to weight gain, and weight gain will lead to high blood pressure. Weight gain will bring in diabetes. Weight gain will bring in arthritis, because when you are increasing the weight on the skeleton of the body, the weight will soon become too heavy for the joints. The joints. You know, some people at 60, they cannot stand for 30 minutes. It's important that I have to stand today, because most time I do sitting, and it's good I stand. At least you got to know that I can also stand as long as I want. It's more convenient sitting down. But so watching, when you are in that menopause stage, you need to watch those carbonated drinks, those bottled drinks you cook and drink. Milk is one of the source of sugar. Not to say that you should run away, but I tell you, it's one of the very good source of sugar. Biscuits and bread are not only source of sugar, but also trans fats that comes from vegetable oils. Now, apart from that, you also have sugars coming naturally from fruits. And so you need to be aware of them and take them cautiously. It's not to say you don't need sugar. So any food you find sugar, you need to take it cautiously, because it's one of your enemies during menopause. Reduce the sugars. Then, besides that, you need to also reduce sedentary life. It's one of your worst enemies. So if you are someone that you don't normally like to go out, you sit one place, it's going to lead to weight gain. These are your worst enemies during menopause. Be deliberate about exercising, not to over exercise, but you need to work out so that you can get your vitamin D for your bones. You don't have to also engage in drinking of alcohol. Yes, I don't need to say this, but I tell you, some women are drinking alcohol until health challenges begin to come. And so if you are taking alcohol, you need to stop. As you are approaching menopause, stop alcohol. Your liver deserves to stay healthy. Your kidney deserves to stay healthy for you. We believe in prevention. Stop those alcoholic drinks. Rarely talk about alcohol, but soon discover that a lot of women are still taking it, including men. It's one of your enemies. You don't need to continue to consume the alcohol. Then those high calorie carbohydrates, remember we talk about the sugars, the carbohydrates, my dear, we need to go down on carbohydrates. You hear people say, I ate rice in the morning, I ate amala in the afternoon, I ate what is it called? I ate a plantain in the evening. They're all carbohydrates, my dear. And so all those high carbohydrate food, which is so much in our society, in our environment, you need to be deliberate to reduce the carbohydrates, because it's going to lead to weight gain. It's going to, and when the weight gain comes, it's going to begin to affect your sleep and everything. The body needs something that it's going to work with: proteins, healthy fats, and fiber. These three. very important during menopause. I repeat, protein in your diet. And when we talk about protein, you need to remember that protein can be complete or incomplete. Complete amino acids for your body to be able to utilize the food you're eating. Then you need to include fiber. Ensure you are getting fiber. Ensure you are getting healthy fats and oil. And of course, we know the healthy fats. Naturally, all the naturally occurring fats are in the category of healthy fats, including avocados, whether the local pear, whether the olive oil, coconut, peanuts, almonds, cashews, piscatos, macadamia, all the nuts, walnuts. They are all good for you because a good number of them are richer in vitamins and minerals. The same goes with the seeds. You need to also, some of you are not bothered about seeds. You need to also begin to search out for the seeds. And if you are following me, I talk about seeds sometimes. I just talk about sesame seeds, white sesame seeds. It's in the last video I made. You need to go and watch that video too. Because a lot of people, they have the resources, but most times the knowledge, what should we be eating? That's what they're asking. That's the more frequently asked question. What should we be eating? We are all in it together. We are all asking the same question, but these foods are available. Avoid processed foods. Your worst enemies. Remember, you may need to be writing it down. Too much of processed food. You see all those foods that we normally go to the supermarket and buy. I was a fan of it. Yes, go to supermarket, buy all the morning cereals, all those stuff. My dear, a lot of them come with salt. And that will bring us to that one. They have added salt. They have added salt and other preservatives. You see, foods with chemicals and preservatives, they are your enemies. Stay away from them. White salt, sodium. Be careful with salt during menopause. Salt, imbalance in salt and potassium is one of the leading cause of high blood pressure. Have you wondered why a lot of women, by the time they enter menopause, if it's not high blood sugar, it's high blood pressure. If it's not high blood pressure, it's stomach ulcer. If it's not stomach ulcer, it's arthritis. If it's not arthritis, it is stroke. Most of these things are either linked to weight. For instance, stroke. If you are overweight and you didn't do something about your weight. Some people think maybe weight gain is something to be proud about. Yes, you may have been looking very great because, of course, having some flesh makes you look more youthful, makes you look younger and somehow. And if you have dress, sometimes you look more fitting. Tested two of them. But my dear, by the time you are in your menopause, it's no longer about the weight. The weight. Yes, it's no longer about the weight. Because when you add weight, I made a short one, something like one of the shorts, saying that if you start seeing weight gain during menopause, you need to work on it. Attack it before it attacks you. And if you are too skinny too, you need to also start looking for foods that can help to add a little flesh. I mean, some people, there is no gene for fatness. Doesn't matter what they eat. They still remain skinny. And so that is not too good. And so if you are overweight, you need to do something because of your blood pressure, because of your blood sugar. And so that is why you need to avoid those processed foods that come with salt. They come with a lot of other additives, other preservatives, other things that your body is no longer able to process. And so you need to reduce your processed foods, because most of them come with added salt, added preservatives, added colorings, added flavorings, and several other things to appeal to the consumer. But now, during menopause, it's no longer about how it appeals to your eyes. Garlic is one of your friends. I mean, raw garlic. And I heard people say, and the smell of garlic, I don't like the smell. You don't have to. During menopause, my dear, you don't have to focus on what you like eating. You don't have to focus on how tasty the food is anymore. But the big question you should be asking before you consume anything, how healthy is it for me? That's the first big question. There are a lot of food that you may not like. There are a lot of food that you may not have liked before, but because of the new life that you have to live, which is menopause, you need to adjust a little. Things like vaginal dryness is common during menopause, and then the woman no longer feel like, having sex or having all those stuff. There is one spice that will help you in this regard. That energy to make love, that energy to feel like, that's one spice that can help you. It's not part of this lecture, and that is cloves. Yes, you heard me. Cloves. It energizes you to that point that lack of willingness to make love or to play with your spouse is never always there during menopause. It's part of it, and the men also should understand. But whereby some of them are not showing much, you need to start to consume cloves occasionally. It's a secret that I'm giving you, because this aspect always affects the marriage. The aspect of having vaginal dryness is always trying to threaten the marriage, because the woman is going to menopause. And so that is why you need to include herbs like spices like cloves. There are other spices that are also good in it, but we said spices are not so good, but you can get some to help you. Seeds like Gorontola is also good to help you. It's not the subject for today. The subject for today is the worst foods. We just talked about sugars. We talked about salt. We talked about spices. We've talked about too much processed foods. We've talked about too much spicy food. And we need to also talk about too much hot foods. This is not a category, but too much hot foods, you need to reduce it because of too much sweating. It comes with too much sweating. Those of us who love eating food hot, we like hot teas, everything should be hot. We need to start to allow it to cool a little bit. Not too cold anyway, because we need to also be reminded that when the food is too cold, that's not good. Because our body is looking for foods that are easy to digest. So the point is, you don't have to embrace sugar from it comes. You don't have to embrace the fried foods, the processed foods. Then the next batch of food are the high calorie foods. Yes, when the food is high in calorie, you need to be cautious with it, because it's going to cause weight for you. It's going to be causing weight gain. And the weight gain is also one of your enemies. It's going to bring in other diseases and other, other issues that will make the menopause experience very, very uncomfortable for you. And so there are several other things that are not actually your friends during menopause. During menopause, you don't need to be eating too much. Yes. Some of us, we love eating a lot, eating between meals. When something is served, whether you're eating before, you go ahead and eat it. You need to reduce, eating up between meals, because what? You are becoming more conscious and mindful of your blood sugar. So you don't have to be eating between meals. You don't have to be taking food between meals, because when you are eating between meals, it's going to be affecting your sugar. Let me take off this thing first so that you can see me very well. And so what I'm saying is that you don't have to continue to eat between the meals, because when you are consuming food between meals, your body is trying to digest the ones, because digestion is one of the biggest challenge that our body faces. And so when you are in the habit of eating between meals, it's going to be affecting your blood sugar. Yes, it's one of your enemies. Not only the worst foods, I'm not only talking about the worst foods, but other bad lifestyles that will not help the menopause experience. And so all those small food in between the meals, maybe you have had your breakfast, and so they are serving cake, you take the cake and eat. They now serve biscuits, you take and into your mouth. It's no longer good for you. You need to be more careful with what goes into your mouth. All those things are causing the reason why it becomes difficult to lose weight. Talking of the menopausal women. Now, menopausal women should also avoid food soups that are too thick. Now, you may not have read some of these things anywhere, but it is what I have been through. It is a life I am living. Those very thick soups. Sometimes you prepare soup, bitter leaf, you add, what do they call it? You add palm fruit. They call it banga. You prepare it. After preparing it, sometimes we do cocoyam thickener and add to it. You don't need it anymore. Let your soups be light. Apart from being light, avoid all those thickeners that are made with starches. Now, before now, you could prepare your bitter leaf soup, those from the southeast, and be adding cocoyam, adding yam, adding potato, everything to thicken it. Not anymore. Because these things will add to the calorie count. They will add to weight gain. One of the reasons I don't eat much of bitter leaf anymore, it used to be my favorite, especially judging from where I come from. One of the reasons, obviously, is because the bitter leaf requires some form of, fat and all these things that I just talked about for it to, just be okay. After some time, I started noticing that each time I consume the same bitter leaf that I used to love, it looked like something is paining me, like it's affecting the nerves. So these are things that wasn't happening before. I had to go low on it. So you don't have to forget listening to your body. After the same bitter leaf, and so because of this, I hardly eat bitter leaf. It used to be my favorite. Because preparing it, you need to put cocoyam, all the thickener, because it has a lot of strands. I mean, soluble and insoluble fiber comes with it. It needs a lot of protein. It needs a lot of fat. I'm talking of the bitter leaf. I'm just using this is part of my own personal experience. So it's not even all the vegetables that continues to be your friend. This is not something that a lot of us want to hear, because when you talk of vegetable, bitter leaf is good. Avoid foods that are blood thickeners. You heard me. During menopause, the blood is getting thicker, so you don't need to add blood thickeners. Moringa leaves. We have heard so much. I even talk about it on the channel. But I tell you also, you don't need to take too much of moringa leaves. It's a blood thickener. Now, when you are taking foods that are blood thickeners, it can give an environment for bacteria to begin to breed because of the too much iron in the blood. Moringa leaves is good to be taken in moderation. Just take it and give yourself some gap. Yes, thank you. Now moringa leaves is something that, when you hear it can do this, over 300 nutrients, some of these nutrients, your body don't need them. Even the ones that your body needs, it needs them only in very small amount. And so by the time you start packing all the moringa leaves, using to make your soup, using to make your teas, my dear, it can lead to, I don't want to mention any disease, so that it doesn't frighten some of us. But I tell you, you see blood thickeners, beware of them. And that is why if you're preparing your soup, now another food that is a blood thickener is any food that is high in iron. Most of them thickens the blood. And I tell you, you don't need too much iron during menopause. Talking from experience. No, I've not had antibiotics for over 14 years. All those malaria, typhoid, I'm free from it by the grace of God, I say. Why? Because you need to understand how the body works during the menopause. All those multivitamin capsules, my dear, it doesn't really work much during menopause. You are only giving your body much work, your liver much work, your kidney much work to remove the waste. It's a problem. And so if you are someone that likes to buy multivitamin like myself in the years of ignorance, you need to slow down. Those multivitamin capsules, iron capsules, they are also not your friend. Why? Because the iron needs another charge for it to be absorbed. And so when you continue taking, they may start creating inflammations in your body. A lot of you, even when doctors do not prescribe multivitamins, do not prescribe the iron tablet, you go for them. Because you think you need blood more than you do. But during menopause, stop those habits. Stop those habits. Go for blood tonic. Go for multivitamin. Go for so. Stop it. Take natural foods. I've not had the so-called multivitamin that I was so fond of. The years of ignorance, I call it. I've not had them for all these years, including worm or whatever. But the last time I did a check on my blood, you can't believe it. The blood was a little too much. That was about 2+ years. It's almost 3 years now. I'm telling you, where are the blood coming from? No blood to no multivitamin for. Since I started this assignment, I call it, I've not taken any multivitamin or blood whatever to increase blood. So menopausal women should also learn from that. By the time you take it, it's making you're giving room for inflammations in your body. You're giving room for those that are going through pains. The pains will get much. Those that are taking calcium. It's one of the very big mistakes I made. Thank you. So you're looking lovely. Thank you, my dear. So one of the very mistakes I made, which I don't want you people to make, because I was wrongly advised that, oh, you need calcium, oh, you need vitamin D, oh, this and that. I went and bought calcium. But guess what? Carbonated calcium. So taking it began to also create, because it's not a water-soluble vitamin. I'm talking of calcium. So it began to give me other health problems. And I tell you, I've had to chat some people who were having some health challenges. And upon discussion and investigation, I found that they were taking calcium. And guess what? It's carbonated calcium. They still sell it in buses and other places. I see them, people buying it, elderly people buying it. I see people marketing it. Buy this, you need calcium to do this, to do that. I keep quiet. They are doing their business. I don't need to interrupt their business. But I tell you, you that you are hearing me, you can also take the message elsewhere. You see, all the calcium I was taking was compounding my health challenges. Today, I have not taken any calcium supplement. As a matter of fact, I hardly take milk. When you see milk in my food, it's just long throat. Just like 3/4 of a sachet. You know that sachet? Just very little. Just to sweet my mouth and to help to pamper my thyroid. Because I need complete amino acids. But I hardly take it. I'm talking of taking of milk. I hardly. But I'm standing with my 2 feet, matching, above 60, matching. I don't have arthritis. See my hand. I don't have arthritis. I don't have all those joint problems. Because why I have to do this, also for you to see, is that you taking the calcium, which I was doing then, does not increase the calcium. Taking the multivitamin, we take those things because we think our body are in need of those things. Now that you are educating us, we will be aware of it. Thank you for your teaching. Thank you, my dear. Thank you, my love. Thank you for following. And so I was taking it also. I was in that ignorance. Ignorance is the biggest mountain before us. I was taking the calcium, multivitamin. If I say beautiful ones, the ones on network, I go and grab it. Cartons of it. But when my eyes were open, my dear, I stopped taking them. And I've stopped till date. I tell you the truth. I don't take all those calcium, multivitamin, iron, menopause, women pause, whatever pause they call it. It's not there. For all these years, only natural food. And that's what you need. It's one of the best decisions you should be making during menopause, is to switch to natural foods. If that food is not natural, if that food is not seasonal, if that food came from the factory, if that food was bought from supermarket, check it very well. Check the nutrients, check the ingredients, check the expiry date, check the amount of sodium, check whether it has this, it has that. Need to be checking. Some of you don't read labels. Yes. As you enter menopause, you need to start reading the labels, because you need to know what is inside it before you take it. Some will go and buy tea. They will write draw strawberry flower on it. Draw all beautiful flower on the packet. But yet, that tea is black tea. I met people in the supermarket, they will say, they don't know this. I say it's black tea. And they don't know. Just because they drew strawberry there. Just because they drew blackberry on the packet. Beautiful packets. It doesn't have to. You don't have to, my dear. My dear, you don't have to be carried away by all those things. Read it. Read the label. What is inside? Is it black tea? Is it green tea? Is it the pomegranate? Is it the strawberry? Or it's just Is this just packaging and labeling, beautiful commercials to attract the consumer? You don't have to. You need to be more conscious during menopause of what goes into your mouth. You need to focus on the natural foods. That's the first thing you need to do. Natural foods. Make sure there are some foods that I was not eating before. Maybe think it's because of sugar or this. But over time, when you do away with all the bread and biscuits and your body is cleaned up and you begin to take blood that will improve blood circulation foods, because blood circulation is one of the challenges of menopause. Feet, we know they pay attention. You start paying attention. Food, I did a short one again just today on the teas that can help improve your blood circulation. You don't need to be consuming anything you see, because like I said, because it's beautifully packaged. Read what is written on it and know whether it's good for your blood circulation. Foods like cayenne pepper, food that can calm you, and of course you need to be applying moderation. Why you need to apply moderation is that whatever food you take and take too much during menopause, your body is going to also give you a bad signal. And so you need to consume all the natural foods. I'm trying to summarize it for you on the things, because I'm most through with the worst foods and lifestyles for you. Reduce stress. Your body can no longer cope with stress. Because if you are someone that is engaged in running here and there and you don't take a break during the day, like myself, I'm guilty of this. But you need, during the menopause now, sometimes you go and lie down, even if you are not sleeping, close your eyes. There are some restless human beings like myself. I tell you, that's one of the weaknesses I have, even when I ought to go lie down and relax. But because of menopause, I'm being deliberate about it. Go lie down. Keep the head, close it. Let the body cool down. Because if you don't, in the evening, you spend 2 hours lying down. The body will be hitting. I mean, you can hear the sound like an engine before it will cool. Why? Because of menopause. It's okay. Thank you. I'm looking so very bright to come to. Yes. So you need to also take time out to relax a little, reduce the stress, and then eat quality meals. Don't eat junk. Don't eat anything. Don't eat anything. Although when hunger is there, some people tend to eat anything. You don't have to. When you are in your menopause, you need to be so conscious and mindful of what you are eating. Let your energy come from fats. More energy. Yes, let it come from the fats, like peanuts, cashew nuts, almond, like the macadamia nuts, like the biscotti, all the nuts or nuts, they give you quality energy, and they come with the antioxidant vitamin E. No, I tell you, during menopause, you should focus also on the omega-3 food sources for your bones. You should also focus on the vitamin E rich food. So it's no longer a matter of just bring it, let me eat. No. Omega-3 fatty acids for your brain. You start eating with your brain in mind. You start eating with your heart, because you start having issues, heart issues. That is the truth. Sometimes people complain that it's paining down to this place, that the ulcer is right here, it's paining that down to the back. Now, sometimes when you are also not getting sufficient protein in your diet, poor protein in the diet is one of your enemies, one of your worst enemies. As I say, things to avoid. Avoid nutrient deficient food. Avoid food that don't have protein, don't have healthy fat, just food to fill the stomach avoid them. If you are going on a journey, I also did a video. Don't say, mommy, I don't see what to eat. I was traveling. Take what you should eat to carry your groundnut, carry your cashew nut, carry your nuts, carry your seeds, your sesame seeds. If you need other seeds, carry them. If you need, what is it called, tiger nut, you need dates. Take foods that are not processed when you are going on a journey. Don't just say, because you don't have any excuse, because you're on a journey, then you just enter one place where they are selling food, people are eating there, you enter and eat. My dear, menopausal women, don't do that. Others may eat it, consume the food, and move away, but you may not get away. If it's not stored as fat, sometimes the oil they use in cooking the food start giving you problem. Start disturbing your stomach. Because some of the oils are oils that have been used in frying, refrying, and so when it gets into your stomach, it becomes difficult to digest. And so you start complaining. Your stomach is paining, while others are rejoicing and sleeping, your stomach is grumbling. Why? Because of menopause. You're not mindful of menopause. If you're on a journey and people are just buying bean balls, bean cakes, what we call akara, or they're just buying and eating, you don't have to. Okay, you're asking me, how do I keep myself fit? Okay. Thank you for that question. Maybe I just highlight a little things. I'm trying to reduce stress. I'm so like, even, and so I try to reduce it. And I stop all those biscuits, bread, all those trans fats. They are our heart's worst enemy. And when I each day, between 3 days, I make sure I work out. I mean, real workout that will, if there are clogged arteries. And that brings me to another one. One of the biggest challenge of menopausal women is having the arteries clogged. If you are not working out, you are not exercising, your arteries will get clogged. Your bone the bone mineral begin to go down. So going out and walking, whether in your compound or to the marketplace or just jumping around the street, or you have a field where you go and exercise, is good. It helps your bone to be stronger. It helps your joints. At times I do some exercise, hitting my armpit if I didn't go out. If I have to just do, videos, like as I do sit down most of the time. But today I said, let me stand, so that at least it will help you to understand the teaching that it's not just sitting down is not the best. Only that more convenient. It makes me more balanced when talking. And I always want my face, to be seen better. But that you can see in other videos. And so what I'm saying is that keeping fit is just reducing the carbohydrates. Yes, reducing the carbohydrates, focusing on healthy fats and nuts, focusing on fiber like oats. Occasionally, you don't even have to overdo the oats. I've seen the negative side of it. So that's why there is a particular slogan in our group: moderation is our rule. Because if you take the oats too much, you're going to see some of them come with small gluten. Some of you are still romancing with wheat. Beware of gluten when you enter menopause. I need to also say this before we round up. Beware of gluten. Gluten is very high in wheat. I've seen a lot of people still consuming it once in a while. Wheat is a grain. It's a natural grain. You may have even seen me in some of my videos where I say I'm eating. Don't forbid any food that naturally, but you see wheat bread, wheat or whatever. Wheat is a sort of big group of vitamins. It's good. Wheat is also a source of magnesium for your heart. One of the very important minerals for your heart. Calcium, magnesium, vitamin E, and others. And other phytochemicals. But you see, wheat, the gluten that is found highly in wheat and other grains. My dear, beware of the gluten during your menopause. Gluten is not good for your liver. It's not your liver's friend. And the ugly thing about the gluten during menopause, when you're in your menopause, you may not get symptoms. Yes, you may not get symptoms like you're sick. You just be consuming it and be feeling like nothing is wrong, but it's secretly, insidiously destroying your system. That's what gluten does. So I try to be mindful of it. Once in a while, I still do long throat and go for wheat bread because of the magnesium in it for my heart, because of the fiber, we need fiber, and then because it's a source of the B group of vitamins, and it contains some amount of protein besides, and the protein in it have some restricting factors, except some of them of the grains are fermented. A good number of the grains have the same behavior of, not allowing the body to access the nutrients, the proteins all the time, except they have gone through some form of fermentation. And so you need to beware of gluten too. Most of the grains, there are also sources, they contain it, but it is highest in wheat. You can find it in corn. Those of you who like corn, you can take it, but once you are eating the food, know that this food contains this gluten. And so if you are consuming foods like oat, for instance, it has mild form of it. If you take it continuously in large amount, you will soon having problem with inflammations. Though it's a great food for your liver, I'm talking of oats. It's good for your liver, it's good for your cholesterol, it's good for your energy, it gives you energy, but you don't have to overdo it during menopause. When you take it, you give yourself some break. When you take it, you allow yourself, because the word gluten, as I can express it to you, it glues and continue to stay for longer. So it's not something you need to just bring on, keep on. Because some people, when they hear that a particular food is good in this, is good for cholesterol, they eat it in the morning, they will have it in the evening again. And they continue like that. You need to continue to make dietary changes and modifications during menopause. Don't focus on one particular food. It doesn't matter how good it is. That's one of the very things you must go home with today. If you don't remember anything, remember that you need to be doing dietary modifications. Don't say, this food is good, or Mama G said this food is good. Then you go and buy bags of it and continue eating. Anything you see, and no send, because no healthy food that does not present an ugly side when taken in excess. And so that is what you must guard against during menopause. You must be careful to reduce any overdose of anything, whether it's fruits, whether it's fiber, whether it's protein, whether it's fat. I've had some time to have nuts. I mean, talking of peanuts, and it hook my chest. Oh, nuts. If nuts give you problem, chest problem, you may say you won't eat it again. And that's why I always advise. I'm talking of peanuts. Because of it has inflammatory effects. So, but if you manage to survive it, like in my own in some cases, next time you now be cautious about it, and you will not take it during bedtime. So you need to be calculating all these things. That's why you need to be alive, around during lives like this, so that you can get some of these experiences and some of these tips, which you cannot even buy them from the market. It's something that has happened. You don't need to take foods like peanuts in the night. You may be taking it before, but getting away, but during menopause, inflammation will show up, and sometimes hook your chest. Don't need to overdo it. So we'll be rounding up. Joyce, who is Idogo? Is apple cider good for the health? Okay. Now, apple cider is good in moderation, and I will explain to you why apple cider is good in moderation. It's one of the foods I take. I have a bottle of it here. Look at it. Look at apple cider. Now, apple cider is good in moderation. Don't take it every day. Now, if you take it every day, it's a food that helps to activate your digestive juice. Because one of the challenges during menopause is your stomach doesn't just wake up easily, like in the morning before. When you just wake up, take water or whatever, you can start eating whatever. But during menopause, you may need to take a tablespoon of apple cider in warm water and allow it for like 20 minutes to act, so that your stomach starts producing digestive juice. It's good. But you don't need to take it regularly, because it reduces your bone mineral density. You can write this one down too. A lot of people don't know this, I'm telling you. It's one thing I have learned. Taking this apple cider, take it cautiously. It's great for managing insulin resistance, which can help you prevent things like diabetes or early onset of diabetes, which is common among menopausal women. Now, it can help you in a lot of ways, but don't take it regularly. If you take it regularly, you may soon start feeling, especially if you are not having sufficient protein in your diet. Because a lot of people, a lot of us, we don't have sufficient protein in our environment. Please, ma'am, what about the sea salt? Is it good for eating now? Yes, sea salt is one of the foods you should embrace. Thank you for that comment, gift. God bless you. I love that and I appreciate it. And so, what I'm saying is that the sea salt is also part of the electrolyte you need to include your diet. But we are not talking about the food, your best food choices today. Remember, these ones are just digressions. I did a live about a week ago, thereabout, where I talked extensively on the foods, the best foods. But today we are talking about the foods to avoid. But you can't also talk perfectly or completely of the foods to avoid without touching a little on this thing. That's why these questions are coming in. And so apple cider is good. Take it in moderation in the morning before your breakfast. But make sure your food is ready. Because immediately you take a tablespoon of the apple cider and add it into your warm water and take. In less than 30 minutes, just the same thing that lemon juice does. You start feeling like hungry. I mean, really, really hungry. That is the work of the acid in apple cider. And apple cider is also good when you are feeling acidic. There are times you have consumed a lot of, your body is acidic. You know, the thing just stuck into your body. As apple cider is very good in that respect. But don't take it frequently, please. Note this thing I'm telling you. That's why that word, moderation is our rule, is inside that our slogan. Because when you start taking it too frequently and there's no sufficient protein buffer, you start developing things like stomach ulcers. Because the calcium, which is an electrolyte, begins to like reduce. And once calcium is reducing, it's going to be causing a lot of other challenges, especially your digestive health. But one aspect that apple cider is very good is if you're having stiffness on your joint, it will stop it. Please, that's why I'm not here to market or advertise the apple cider, but I tell you, there was a time, you see this in my hand, I've seen people that cannot fold their hands like this, their two hands, because it's stiff. The stiffness of the joints of the hands like this, they cannot close it and open it. There was a time, I mean several years ago, as far back as 10 years back, I could not close my hands. It was so stiff. And you can see other women who are just 55, they are not even up to my age. I'm 60 plus. But they cannot also fold their hands, close their, because of the stiffness of the joint. Apple cider is good in that regard. If you're having soft, stiff joints, you can't bend your hand, especially the hand. You see that arthritis of the hand, it helps you with it, but don't overdo it. Once you take it and the stiffness stop, give a break. And then later you start taking it like once or twice in a week. That's the way I do. And it helps you to control weight gain. The apple cider helps you to ensure that you don't just start adding weight. It helps reduce insulin resistance, which is associated with diabetes. Talking of it, I think that you are asking whether is apple cider good. You have asked about sea salt. Sea salt has a lot of minerals, over 82 minerals. It's one of my secrets. I've been using it for over 14 years with my entire family. I use it in my cooking. And over time, I use it to gargle, to strengthen my teeth and my gums. Because these are part of some of the organs we need to protect during menopause. The teeth want to be losing, the gums, they want to be, everything is, you just have to manage it. And most of the food that you need are these food that are rich in minerals, like sea salt. So you need to ensure that you do not, overdo any of these things. Take if it's apple cider, include it. Take it moderately. It reduces weight gain, reduces bacterial acidity, reduces stiffness of joints. And some people who are managing high blood pressure, they say it's good for it too. So I don't know about it, but I know it's good for controlling your weight, and then for pre-diabetes. Yes, I use it to control. Then some time ago for insulin resistance. Once in a while I use it. I don't use it daily. Sometimes I use it like once a week. Sometimes I could say use it twice a week. Sometimes a whole week I don't use apple cider. I use other things. That's why I said don't focus on one particular thing. Some people, when they say apple cider is good, they go and buy 2 bottles. Every day they take it for a month, and then they'll come up and say they have stomach ulcer, they have this and that. Every good food has its own ugly and negative side. So you don't have to focus on one particular thing. Whether not beans you are eating. When you eat beans a little, you eat egg. Egg is one of the good foods too, because it has anti-inflammatory properties. So you don't have to just focus on a particular food because that food is good. So thank you all for coming. And we're rounding up now. I think we've had a good time together. Remember to watch the other video live on the menopause to get the full story and talk on menopause. Even if we continue today, there's still much to discuss about menopause, because nobody can talk better about menopause than the person who had gone through menopause herself. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you have not done so, because this is healthy food place where we share ideas such as this and recipes on how you can stay healthy naturally. Once again, thank you all for coming. See you again.